Now, the Democrats, they want Clarence Thomas out of the Supreme Court. So how's the Democrats are trying to do it? They're trying to say that, a billionaire had purchased his childhood residence, and they said after it was, he saw it was a dangerous neighborhood following his client's financial disclosure being made this week, according to his attorney. They said the revelation was included, in an August 31 statement, from lawyer Elliot Burke, and say the particulars and acknowledgement of the sale of that Savannah, Georgia home, which his 94-year-old mother still to abide in without paying rent, comes in after investigation from ProPublica and amid looming criticism about his ethics, which has called for him to resign. Now, Thomas's response to the controversy has been scant. It says the statement from his attorneys is the most detailed rebuttal of all ethics concerns so far, answering the SUA allegations. It said in 2014, Harlan Crow is a longtime friend of Justice, and Mrs. Thomas visited Savannah with Justice Thomas. And they said they justified the sale of the home. It said Mr. Crow witnessed firsthand how the neighborhood was blighted and dangerous with derelicts, drug users, junkies, and notably in the house next to the Justice's mother and in other houses on her street. Now, Clarence told Crow that he plans to demolish the property when his mother dies. It said, however, according to the statement, the billionaire suggested that he preserve the property for a museum. It says similar to the previous efforts to maintain landmarks connected to Clarence's life. It said Burke noted that his client did not receive any financial benefits from those projects. And I say with respect to the 2014 Savannah transaction, said Mr. Crow bought 3 parcels in which Justice Thomas had 1/3 ownership interest for $133,000, along with remaining houses and lots with numbers 540 and 550 on the same street. It said Mr. Crow brought those other homes because he believed it would be a benefit to develop those properties to make the neighborhood more appealing, a mini urban renewal project. Now, Burke added that Crow had the concept of building a seed home with a good tenant. It said to revamp the neighborhood. It was built next to Thomas's home. It said the developer obtained 2 additional properties. It currently is unclear if the community has been improved. So Burke emphasized that Thomas did not profit from the sale. They said that there was no profit or net income for Justice Thomas on the transaction. Indeed, he lost money on the ultimate sale of the property. Said, but the purchasers and subsequent owners or investors appear to have done very well financially. They say over the last few months, it's been revealed that Crow paid the school tuition for one of Thomas's relatives and gave him gifts and luxurious trips for decades, in addition to reports that Clarence Thomas' other billionaire friends showered him with at least 38 extravagant vacations and more than 24 private flights. Boy, it's nice to be a Supreme Court justice, isn't it? I said Burke also pointed out the other Supreme Court justices have been accused of ethics infractions. That Thomas has been seen to be singled out for political antics by left-wing groups. And say we look forward to answering any additional questions or addressing any remaining issues with it and its staff in the wake of these sensationalized allegations. Now, they say the financial disclosure process should never be weaponized against any justice simply because any organization or anyone disagrees with the way the justice thinks, writes, or votes. Now, why? I would say this much, even though I'm not a fan of Clarence Thomas, not at all, but they should investigate all of them, not just him. What about the other Republicans? See, I look at that because the Democrats are pushing this. I look at this as more racial, even though I don't support Clarence Thomas like that. Investigate all the Republicans. Investigate all the Democrats too. Because I know good and well Clarence Thomas isn't the only one that has taken vacations with the billionaires and all kinds. He's not the only one. But yet he's the only one they're singling out. And let's say this to get him off the Supreme Court. It's still a 5-4 Republican majority. It still is. So it doesn't make sense. But I always say this, the Democrats and the Republicans are racist against black people. And this story, to me, just proves it. But let me know what y'all think about Clarence Thomas. Of course, a lot of you going to say, oh, that's good for him. And like, I'm not defending him, but I look at it like this. It's still a racial issue. Go ahead and investigate the white ones too.